Right now, though, I want to welcome Jarad and John to the show, and they're with LED4Home.com. And Jarad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thank you for.
Well, we got to get that mic a
Uh-oh.
little closer in there.
Is that close enough?
There we go.
Right there?
There you go.
All right.
Now, you guys came out and did an examination on my house as far as my lighting, and like most homeowners, me and my wife probably have a little bit of a disagreement on how bright lights should be, and so we worked that out, and we're looking at doing exactly the way my wife would like it,
Yep.
which typically runs the way most homes run. But uh, let's talk about the what you guys actually do, because you basically you come through and you had your iPad out and you are documenting every light in the house.
Every single one. We come out. We come to your door. Say hello, and then we ask you, hey, what rooms can we go to first? Go to last? Anything that you would like to bring to our attention, and then we look at every single fixture that you have in the home, whether it's attached to your ceiling, to your wall, or it's just a table lamp, a bed lamp, and we look at those and say, hey, well, do you like this color? Is it bright enough for you in here? Is it not bright enough? And we had you and your wife saying yes and no and disagreeing and agreeing, and so we pretty much just deferred to what your wife was telling us and took from that and filled out, as you said.
I might be hard headed, but I'm not stupid.
No, that's an easy lesson to learn once you're married.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe before that it takes a little while when you're dating somebody, but once you're married, you learn pretty quick.
Yeah, and after 32 years of marriage, I've almost, not quite, almost got it down.
That's one of the things that we strive for in life, huh?
Yeah, that's what they tell us anyways. No, I'm teasing. So, in going through the process, things that I would have thought were oddball stuff was just normal everyday stuff for you guys.
Yeah, we went through your house and honestly found nothing too oddball, pretty much all standard. The lights you had, the colors you had, in your studio here having a couple different colors, we see that everywhere. Most convenient light is usually the one that gets put in, not the best form
It
factor
was what was
for
in
you.
the pantry when I needed a bulb.
Yeah, exactly. It's what I could reach for.
Yeah.
So you are correct. I mean, most everything we run into is pretty standard. We think that your house will have no issues of having a lamp that we wouldn't have in stock currently.
Now, one of the things that I was telling you guys was I had my electrician out yesterday because my main breaker had flipped on the house a few weeks ago. Didn't concern me enough where I wanted somebody out immediately, but I booked an appointment when I knew I could be here and meet with them. And so we came through and looked at it, and I've got a breaker panel here that's a 200 amp service. I've got 400 coming into the house, but I'm overloading my circuit because since this was put in, I've got electric heat in the house. I added a tankless water heater, and that really eats up the juice when it kicks on. And so I'm spiking it, and I hit, when we ran our load test yesterday, I hit as high as 187
Yeah, not where
out
you
of the
want to
200. Anything over 80 is likely to trip the breaker. And so changing from regular incandescent bulbs or even the compact fluorescents to LED can help with that problem.
Correct. Yeah. It'll help the problem by 70-80% reduction in that energy consumption for your lighting. So if you have all your lights on in the house, we can reduce your energy consumption by around 70 to 80%. I think your house, John, what was Jim's house?
It was about 83.
Oh, we got to pull that way in there. There you go.
Yeah, you almost have to eat this mic. John said it was about 83%, reduction in energy. So that alone will save you some time, some energy in your panel space, especially.
Okay. Now, I got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about exactly what you guys do and how we can make it affordable.
Sounds great.
Now, when we left, I was talking with Jarad about LED lighting. And Jarad, let's, one of the things that we talked about while you were going through my house is canister lights.
Yeah.
Now, I've got one in the house where I put too big a bulb in it, and it's got the fail-safe switch, so when it gets too hot, it trips off. One of the nice things on LED, that's not really an issue, is it?
No, typically you won't find that problem. But most can lights, pretty much all can lights, come with what's called a thermal switch, and after a certain time of a standard incandescent being on, that heat triggers that switch and shuts your light off. So a lot of times you'll see those over bathtubs or showers. It's a fail-safe, like you said.
Now, we're in an old house here. My canister lights upstairs, they don't have that.
Yeah, and that can be a concern sometimes. So the LED, you can also say, is a safety aspect to it as well, where it'll reduce that amount of heat in that can, so you don't have to worry about anything catching on fire.
Now, one of the big concerns, that most people have had with LED bulbs hasn't really been the lighting, because, quite frankly, you got so many choices. You can find what you like in the light. For most people, it's been cost prohibitive when they go to the box store and they looked at a bulb as $25.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, there are still a lot of expenses that it seems you look at an incandescent and say, "Wow, this is so much more expensive." And with LED4Home, what our model is to do is to say, well, our price for LED is going to be your installed price, and that's going to be very similar, if not pretty much exactly what the big box store is for just buying the lamp.
Well, I looked at the pricing that we're talking about for my house, and I know from past history going to buy bulbs and stuff, I think you guys are cheaper.
I would like to think so, yeah. But if Home Depot or Lowe's gets a whiff, it might not be that case for long. We'll see.
And the best part is I get to sit in my lazy boy chair while you're taking care of the light bulbs.
Yeah, and then, probably depending on how long you have this house for, decide to stay here, you might not ever have to change a lamp.
Well, I've been here for 13 years now. 14 years now. And I guess we'll stay another year or two.
Yeah, at least a few. Like you said, we were talking earlier, it's a great market to sell, but then where do you buy? Where are you going to go after that?
You can't afford to go buy a replacement nowadays.
And the LEDs will actually help with profiling and showcasing that house if you're trying to sell it. I actually used an LED upgrade in my home right before I sold it for pictures of the home to really sharpen the profile of that house.
Look, I got to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about outdoor, because a lot of times people think the LED is not available for that. So
sure.
Let's get some answers on that. We'll be back with more Texas Home Improvement, 1-800-288-9227. We were talking with Jarad and outside lighting, because, a lot of times we think that we need special bulbs for outside and all this stuff, but the LEDs do very well there.
Yeah, LEDs do great out there. There are some things that we can't replace, double-ended halogen lamps. Those are kind of your throwaway fixtures, but most of your PARs, which are your spotlights that you typically get on the garages or your under canopies of your home, you put in an LED, and it does very well out there. They've made these LED spotlights very robust, very tough to handle hot and cold temperatures quite well. And
will they cast out a light as far as the others?
Yeah, they will cast further usually, and the best thing about them is they actually have LEDs are very controllable on where you put that light. So you can have a very narrow light or you can have a very wide light cast upon if you have a neighbor you really don't like and you want to really blow them out, or if you want to keep it pretty tight. Yeah, so you need to let us know and we'll bring out the right light for you.
No, I don't think I want to do that. I mean, I don't want my neighbor shooting my lights out.
Yeah, that's true. It might bounce back. You never know.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break for news, traffic, and weather here on WBAP. We'll be right back with more Texas Home Improvement. Like us on Facebook so you get our updates, and like we did this morning, a little Facebook Live about changing out your bulbs with the LED using LED4Home.com. And I actually have Jarad and John here from LED4Home.com. And Jarad, one of the things we were talking about was LED lighting. One, it uses a lot less electricity than conventional lighting does, but there are some differences in the way it operates. In other words, a conventional bulb doesn't last very long.
No, it doesn't at all. Your incandescent and your fluorescent lamps, they are all using, as we say, the conventional passing current through something that creates an excited state. And for incandescent, for instance, that's tungsten typically, and it heats that metal up, and that's where you get your light. its actual source is more of a heat source than it is a light source. The light is actually a byproduct in incandescence, and that's why you can't touch those lamps after they've been on for a while.
That's that thing we call a filament.
Exactly.
We're lay people who
Filament.
That don't use all these fancy technical.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it down.
No, that's okay. And the compact fluorescent, I have never understood how that works.
So essentially, you have built into that lamp, you have what we call a ballast. So it's an electrical component that strikes an arc inside that lamp every time you turn it on. It excites the phosphor and a little bit of other chemicals. I just went blank. One that is hazardous.
I had a lady one time, I was talking to her and I went blank and I said that and she says, well, Jim, they make a pill for that.
Oh, do they? All right. Well, I need to know what that is because that happens a lot. So essentially, it strikes that arc and then it excites the phosphor, which then releases light because it's bouncing off of each other.
Is that why when you turn on a compact fluorescent, it's dim and it takes time for it to warm up?
Typically, yes. Yeah. That's exactly it. And so you'll have that, and then they used to be very difficult to dim. They've gotten the technology there where they're able to, but with these two components, or not components, but systems, you have longevity issues depending on how often you turn them on and off.
Okay, LED lights, when I turn them on, I'm on, or is it going to...
You're on. You're on unless you kept the dimmer switch halfway on or something. And then you can turn them off. You can have a party and strobe them as much as you want. It does not affect that LED chip itself and create.
Well, you had to tell all the kids out there that, didn't you?
Yep. That's why you see all these sound stages now are LEDs. It's less heat. They can control them significantly better. So it's.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's great technology, and it's very well. It's come a long way in the home, and that's why we felt this was the right place to be at the right time with LED4Home.
Now, you touched on something else, dimmer switches.
Correct. Yeah, you have a few in your home.
Yes.
Yeah, you have one of those old rotary dials, which you told me was about 13, 14 years old or so.
I put it in 03.
Well, there you go. We might have to change that.
June of 03.
June. Wow. Yeah. I think I saw the date stamp on it. But we might actually have to switch that out. That's about the most heavy part of the install is running into dimmer switches. Some of the older ones are not suitable with LEDs, so we price it in, and then if we don't end up putting it in, we'll always try it with the existing first. If it doesn't work, we'll already have price in the dimmer, and if we don't need to, we'll take that price out at the end.
And then I have one other dimmer switch, but it's a on-off switch and then has a little slide bar.
Mm-hmm. That one will probably be okay. That's a more recent dimmer. I would take odds on that one working for sure.
Well, we can just go up here across the Red River to Oklahoma where gambling is legal and we can get away. No.
I just don't want to pay them the 50 cents to play. That's the only thing.
So when the bulbs are changed out, am I having to sit here for 2 or 3 days, or how long does it take you to come in and do an average house?
That's a great question, especially coming into the house. The audit's usually an hour to 2 hours, and then the install, depending on the size of the home, is anywhere from 1 hour to 4 hours. And we try to make it as comfortable as possible.
Now my house was I'm just shy of 3,000 square feet, and John here had the audit done in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, we probably could have gotten it done faster if we had been bothering them, but 45 minutes, and the install will probably take 2 to maybe 3 hours max.
John, were we bothering you?
No bothering.
No bothering?
No.
Okay. Install, though, I don't have to do anything.
No, you just tell us if there's a room or anything else that you want us to do first or last. Even when it comes to, you don't have high ceilings here, but in a lot of those newer built homes, they might have a 20-foot. If you got something in the way, we can move that, and we will. But if you don't feel comfortable with us moving it, so let's say it's a grand piano or something and it's not on wheels, then we'd recommend you.
I don't feel comfortable moving that.
Yeah. We will move it, but if you say, hey, I need someone out, I want my professional to do this, we'll gladly coordinate with them on that as well.
Well, you mentioned to me when we were looking at my house that the lighting is guaranteed for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't typically get a year out of my incandescent bulbs.
No, I would be surprised if you did. You would either be turning it and leaving it on completely, or you might not ever turn it on except for once or twice. So getting our warranty is that not just the material warranty of 1 year, but also that labor side where we'll come and change it for you.
So once I have you guys out, I mean, I'm good to go for the next 12 months. If a light bulb goes out, my wife is yelling at me, "You need to fix that light bulb." I just call you.
Yep, that's it. Or you tell your wife to call us, and then she'll hold us responsible.
That's a better thing.
Yeah, there you go. Now it's her responsibility. So,
Mary, I delegated that. Let me give you the number to the guy who's going to handle that for you.
Yeah, very good.
So, when somebody's wanting to look at getting this done, how do they get in touch with LED4Home?
Well, they would call us or email us or go to our website. You could reach us at 844-533-4466. You can go to our LED4Home.com, and that 4 is the number 4. And those are the best ways to reach us. We are monitoring those lines and also those emails that come through to get something scheduled for auditing.
And an obvious question for me anyways is, where all will you guys go?
Currently it's in the DFW area, the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth. We're working here right now, and then we'll be moving into other cities as we kind of get this area saturated.
But McKinney?
Yes, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is kind of hard to quantify
Yeah,
now.
that's why I'm asking, because there's a lot of people who say, yeah, we do DFW, but they don't want to go out to the suburbs.
I consider the suburbs of Dallas-Fort Worth, and we do as well, as part of our coverage area. So all the way up to Denton, and then down to Hillsborough if needed. So pretty much where your 35s connect. And then I would consider that maybe, let's say, the outer rings of Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah.
All right.
Because eventually it'll all be houses, I'm guessing. Maybe not in our lifetime, but
I don't know. They're moving on it pretty quick.
Yeah, they are.
Join us next Saturday at the Irving Convention Center for the Las Colinas Home and Garden Show. Now, I'll be broadcasting the show live from our booth. You can come by and say hello, and it's a great place to see new products, trends, and talk to contractors about any project you're planning this year. And Jarad, you guys are going to be out there as well, aren't you?
We are, yes. Myself and John will be out there. You'll probably see John more than me, but we look forward to being out there. And we're also doing a raffle after the trade show, where we will be giving away an audit for free, and as well as up to $2,500 towards an LED conversion for your home.
Now, I'm talking with Jarad from LED4Home.com, and $2,500, that's a lot. That's a big house.
That is, yeah.
That's not my size house. That's a big house.
No, it'll probably cover 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, depending on just depending on what you have in it. But most likely, that size home would be covered by that.
Now, you guys are also going to be out at the Fort Worth Stock Show.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that one.
You going to the Stock Show, John?
I'll be there.
You going to Las Colinas, or you going to the Stock Show?
I'll be at both.
Both.
Yeah, you're going to get to know John well at those events, especially. He's going to have more.
You ain't got boots
shoes
on, dude. You can't go to the Stock Show with those shoes.
Well, I just moved here a few months ago, and I'm from the Midwest, so boots aren't really my thing yet. But they will be by the time I go to the show.
You do know if I see you out there at the Stock Show and you don't got boots on, I'm going to harass the heck out of you, right?
Well, I better start looking for some boots then.
Cavenders, they're right over here on 35. They got nice boots.
I'll have to check them out.
Okay, I'm just saying you got to fit out in the.
That's the first thing I think you have to get when you come down here and live, is stop at a boot store and get yourself some boots.
You will find that over time that they are more comfortable than wearing shoes.
Yes.
I wear boots every day, except when I got my fuzzy slippers on. That's just. Anyways, okay. So you guys are going to be doing a raffle, and you're going to be at both the Stock Show and Las Colinas. One of the things that I wanted to make sure we touched on one more time was the fact that when somebody's looking at changing to LED bulbs, LED4Home really is more cost effective than going to the box stores, because one of the key things that I was just talking about it when I was talking about iFly Rise. For me, time.
Yes.
Time is money. I can't make more of my time.
No, and that's a great point. Everyone can change their light bulbs, anybody and everybody, but it's that time that you don't have, or that you have to use. If we're going to pay to get our lawns manicured and taken care of, why not go look at your lighting one time and say, hey, I'm going to have LED4Home come in here, and at the same price, I can probably purchase these lamps that I can get them installed. And I will then have another warranty for a year for the labor and that material as well.
And that's another key thing, that 1 year warranty on not just the bulb itself, but the labor to put it in.
Yep.
Again, I can't make more of my time.
No.
It's a limited commodity that I have.
Yeah, that was very insightful what you said about the time, and we can all do these things. I mean, I can't do foundation work, that's for sure. But I can change my own light bulbs. But I had the house we just sold. I was in it for 2 years, and because I didn't want to take the time, it took me almost 2 years to put LED lamps in there when I run a company that does LED lighting.
Man, John, what kind of buddy are you? You didn't go over and help him do it?
I actually went and audited his home. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did. That's how we got it done.
So your wife knew who to call as well. I got it.
She didn't call me. She called LED4Home.
So again, let's tell people how they can call LED4Home.
Yeah, they can call us at LED4Home.com. You can reach us at 844-533-4466, or you can go to our website, LED4Home.com.
Now, what are the hours that you guys will come out and do these audits?
Right now, the audits are typical business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We're talking about a flex schedule on the weekends if we see that demand pick up, but so we can be more in tune with our customers. But right now, it's just business hours, 8 to 5. You can call us or email us on the weekends, especially, and we'll get back with you first hours of opening business.
Okay. Well, I'll get back to you here in just a second. Now, I'm sitting here with Jarad and John from LED4Home, and their website, LED4Home.com. If you want to take a look at it, you're going to find all kinds of great information there to help you out with why choose LED4Home. But also, if you want to talk to them, you can meet them next weekend down at the Fort Worth Stock Show or at the Las Colinas Home Show. Either one. They're going to be at both places. You mentioned a raffle, and we kind of just skipped right over that. What are you doing with this raffle?
So what we're doing is you just come to the booth and just provide us a little bit of information, your name, phone number, email. We might ask you what's your general square footage if you know it, and your address, and we'll put you in the raffle. And then at the end of the trade show, we're gonna pick from the raffle, and whoever's name we pick, you don't have to be present. We will contact you about setting up your audit, and then providing you guys with some great lighting in your home for up to $2,500. Which most likely that'll cover 4,000 or 5,000 square feet.
Oh man, that's a heck of a deal, Jarad. But because we're running out of time here, LED4Home. How can people get in touch with you guys?
They can go to our website, LED4Home.com, or they can call our number at 844-533-4466.
And when they call, you guys will schedule, go out, take a look, and then. You mentioned to me that you can email the results to them, or can you go over it with them while you're there?
Yep, we'll do both. If they have the time, we'd love to go over them with them while we're together, and then we'll also email you that energy audit that we do for the lighting of your home. And
just from looking at what you guys did on my house, because we did briefly just before we went on the air take a look at the cost of it. This is not something that you gotta go take a new mortgage out for.
No. We hopefully you don't need to finance it. We don't provide that. No mortgage, no second mortgage. It's something that should be within, depending on the home size, a couple $1,000s, pretty much maximum. But you get into those custom homes, they do get pretty pricey.
Yeah, especially when they get into fancy lighting, probably, and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and can you do that, like the little with the little base
candelabra
on it?
bases?
Yes.
And yeah, we do all of that. I mean, we pretty much. I think that LEDs and the lamps can cover about 80 to 90% of anything that's in a home. There are cases where it just won't, and we'll let you know and say, hey, there's no product for this. Or if you've already done we'd like to do the whole home if possible.
Sure.
That's our model. But if you've done, say, your kitchen area, and you say we have LEDs in here, but the rest of it we want to do LED, we can exclude that from the audit. But we like to know that up front, just so we are aware of our auditor.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a real quick break here. When we come back, I've got that name for the carpenter, and we'll plug that out there. And our final thoughts here on Texas Home Improvement. Again, our number is 1-800-288-9227.